Ladies and gentlemen, before the sun paints the sky with promise, before the chaos of the day creeps in with noise and notifications, there is a sacred window of time, a holy moment when your mind is fresh, your spirit is quiet, and your heart is open. That is the moment you must seize, because how you start a thing often determines how you finish it. You can't expect to walk in purpose if your first step each day is into confusion. You can't expect clarity if you wake up and immediately give your attention to the world before you give it to the one who created the world. When you rise, rise with intention. Don't just stumble into your morning, stand in it. Declare what today will be. Speak over your life. Lay claim to the blessings you haven't even seen yet. Before you check a text, check your spirit. Before you read an email, read your thoughts. Before you let the world tell you what's urgent, let God remind you what's important. Because if you don't set the tone will be set for you. If you don't command your atmosphere will command you. We have too many people waking up and running full speed in the wrong direction. They wonder why they're exhausted, burned out, and unfulfilled. It's because they never paused to ask, where am I going? They never took a moment to align their actions with their assignment. They woke up chasing instead of leading, but you were never called to be reactive. You were created to be intentional. You were made to operate with vision, not just movement. And that vision starts in the morning. That vision starts in prayer. It starts in stillness. It starts in meditation, in writing, in whispering dreams back to life that fear tried to bury. It starts in looking in the mirror and reminding yourself who you are before the world tries to tell you who you're not. That kind of clarity doesn't just happen. It's cultivated. It's chosen. Every single morning you get the chance to either create your day or survive it. Let me tell you something. Your mind is most vulnerable when you first wake up. That's the soil. That's the seedbed of your day. What you plant there will grow. If you plant worry, you'll harvest anxiety. If you plant doubt, you'll walk in hesitation. But if you plant faith, if you plant clarity, if you plant focus, you will walk in purpose. You will move through the day not tossed by every distraction, but anchored in destiny. So don't let the morning be an accident. Make it an appointment. Don't stumble through the beginning. Own it, stand in it, speak into it. Because when you start your day with clarity, you don't just change your hours. You change your life. Everything that enters your life doesn't deserve to stay. Every sound that knocks at the door of your soul doesn't deserve to be welcomed in. Your focus is too valuable, your peace too sacred, and your calling too great to let just anybody or anything take up residence in your mind. You have to guard your atmosphere, not because you're better than others, but because you're building something that can't afford contamination. You're birthing something in the spirit that the enemy wants to distract, dilute, and ultimately destroy. You can't carry a purpose this big and entertain distractions that small. You can't feed your destiny while feasting on dysfunction. You've got to decide what's feeding me and what's draining me, because not every conversation is worth your energy. Not every room is worth your presence. Not every voice deserves a seat in your mind. When you're trying to stay focused, protect your atmosphere like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. The battlefield isn't always outside. It's not always bills and tasks and responsibilities. Sometimes it's in the invisible, the words spoken over you, the doubts whispered in your ear, the attitudes you absorb without even realizing it. Some people don't come to push you forward. They come to pull you back. They don't speak life, they speak fear. They don't believe in your vision, and their doubt is contagious. You've got to be wise enough to know that love doesn't always mean access. Grace them with forgiveness, but guard your space with wisdom. What you allow around you eventually gets in you. So fill your atmosphere with what uplifts, inspires, and aligns with the calling over your life. Play music that lifts your spirit, not poisons your thoughts. Speak words that ignite your faith, not feed your fears. Create spaces where peace is the default, not chaos. Build an environment where your soul can breathe, where your ideas can grow, where your mind can rest and reset. Sometimes it's not that you're unfocused, it's that you're surrounded by confusion. And when confusion becomes the soundtrack of your space, clarity becomes harder to find. But when you cleanse your atmosphere, when you shut the door on toxic energy and open the window to fresh perspective, your mind begins to breathe again. You start to think clearly, walk straighter, and dream bigger. Don't be afraid to cut the volume down. Don't be ashamed to choose silence over senseless chatter, because in the silence, God speaks. In the stillness, vision becomes visible. In the quiet, the blueprint of your next move begins to take shape. You are not just managing time. You are stewarding purpose. And to protect your focus, you must protect your space. Build an atmosphere worthy of the greatness inside of you, because where peace lives, purpose can thrive. And when your atmosphere aligns with your assignment, focus flows like a river. You've been trying to conquer the whole mountain in one step. You've been trying to eat the entire meal in one bite. No wonder you're tired. No wonder your mind is overwhelmed and your heart feels heavy. Let me tell you something powerful. You don't have to do it all at once. Destiny is not a sprint. It's a series of steady, intentional steps. You win the day by winning the moments. And if you want to stay focused, if you want to make real progress, you've got to break your day into battles. You weren't created to chase everything, everywhere, all at once. Even the most powerful machines need rhythm. They need structure. They need order. You, my friend, are no different. You've got to train your mind to operate in cycles, periods of deep, focused work, followed by intentional rest. This isn't laziness. This isn't weakness. This is wisdom. A warrior doesn't fight all day. They fight in battles. And when the battle is over, they sharpen their sword, tend to their wounds, and prepare for the next one. That's how you win your day. One battle at a time. Maybe it's 90 minutes of writing, of building, of studying, of creating. Then take 15 minutes. Step outside, breathe, stretch, hydrate, reflect. Then get back in the ring, not scattered. Not stressed, strategic. That's how you build endurance. That's how you guard your focus. That's how you multiply your impact. But we've been tricked into thinking that busy is productive. That if we're not constantly moving, constantly answering, constantly responding, we're falling behind. No, real progress doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters on purpose with your whole heart. You can do 10 things halfway or do one thing with fire. The choice is yours. You see, the enemy of focus is not always failure. It's fatigue. And fatigue will lie to you. It will tell you that you don't care anymore, that you're not capable, that you've lost your passion. But the truth is you're just tired. You're just depleted. You've been trying to pour from an empty cup. But if you learn to move in rhythm, if you work with intention and rest with discipline, you'll find your fire again. There's a flow to focus. There's a beat to productivity. And when you find it, when you honor it, everything changes. Ideas come clearer, time stretches longer, your body strengthens, your vision sharpens, and you start to realize you're not lazy, you just needed a better strategy. So stop trying to fight the whole war in a day, break it into battles, win those battles with everything you've got. Rest when it's time, then rise up and fight again. That's how you move from survival to success, from distraction to destiny. Not all at once, but one focused battle at a time. You cannot build a strong house with weak materials, and you cannot build a strong mind with weak content. If you want to stay focused, stay sharp, stay driven, you've got to feed your mind like your future depends on it. Because it does. You cannot afford to fill your spirit with trash and expect treasure to come out. You can't watch confusion, listen to chaos, scroll through foolishness, and think purpose will pour out of your life like a river. No, no, no. What goes in will always come out. Your mind is a garden, and every thought is a seed. What are you planting? Are you feeding yourself with truth, wisdom, revelation? Or are you stuffing yourself with drama, doubt, and distractions? Some of us are praying for clarity, but filling our minds with clutter. We're asking for direction, but feeding our hearts with distractions. That's like asking for strength while eating poison. It doesn't work like that. If you want to grow, feed yourself what grows you. Read something that stretches you. Listen to something that builds you. Surround yourself with words, with wisdom, with content that breathes life into your spirit. Get in the habit of feeding your mind as seriously as you feed your body. You don't miss a meal, don't miss a moment to pour into your mind. Because your mind is the engine of your destiny, and if that engine is running on fumes, your dreams will stall. You've got to make feeding your mind a sacred ritual. Not something you squeeze in, but something you schedule. Read a chapter, watch a message, journal your thoughts. Listen to something that lifts you above the noise. You don't need more entertainment, you need more empowerment. You don't need more scrolling. You need more strategy. The next level of your life is waiting on the next level of your thinking, and your thinking will only rise to the level of what you consume. And let me tell you, this is not about being perfect. This is about being intentional. You're not going to get it right every day. But if you can win more days than you lose, if you can be more mindful of what you allow into your spirit, you will start to see the shift. You'll start to notice how your thoughts change, how your words change, how your focus sharpens, how your confidence rises. And suddenly, the very things that once distracted you don't even pull at you anymore, because your mind has been elevated. You can't fly on airplane wings with birdseed thinking. You need content that matches your calling. Feed your mind what fuels your mission. Feed it with courage. Feed it with wisdom. Feed it with vision. And when your mind is full of power, your life will start to walk in purpose. Focus isn't just about what you block out. It's about what you let in. So fill yourself with what lifts you, and watch how high you rise. Before you lay your head down, before the night wraps you in its stillness, you need to pause, not to scroll, not to stress, but to reflect. You've been running all day, giving, serving, solving, chasing. But have you stopped long enough to ask, what did I gain from today? You see, focus is not just about how you start your day, it's about how you finish it, because what you fail to close today will follow you into tomorrow. You cannot carry the baggage of the last 24 hours into your new sunrise and expect to walk in freedom. Reflection is not weakness, it is not indulgence, it is warfare. It's how you reclaim your mind, It's how you silence the lies that say, you didn't do enough. It's how you confront the voice that whispers, you're falling behind. When you reflect, you take ownership. You remind yourself that even if everything didn't go right, you're still standing. Even if some things fell through, some things held you up. Even if progress was small, it was still progress. You've got to give yourself credit. You've got to give yourself closure. You've got to make peace with what didn't get done and celebrate what did, because you are not a machine. You are not defined by your to-do list. You are a vessel carrying purpose, and even vessels need rest. But rest doesn't happen by accident. Rest comes when you release the pressure, release the comparison. Release the guilt. God never called you to be perfect. He called you to be faithful. So sit with the day. Ask yourself what you learned. Ask yourself where you grew. Ask yourself how you showed up. Not just what you produced, but who you became. Did you speak life? Did you stay committed? Did you move with integrity? Because those are the true measures of progress, not just tasks, but transformation. And then, once you've reflected, let it go. Don't lay down with worry. Don't carry regret into your rest. Speak peace over your night. Speak strength into your tomorrow. Tell your weary mind, you did what you could, and that's enough. Speak to your soul like it's your own child. Calm it, comfort it, cover it. Because when you end the day in peace, you begin the next day with power. This rhythm of reflection isn't a suggestion, it's survival. It's what keeps you focused. It's what keeps you sane. It's what keeps you from spiraling into burnout and drifting into discouragement. Because life moves fast, and if you don't pause, you'll lose yourself in the movement. But when you stop to reflect, you remember who you are. You remember why you started. You remember what matters. And that remembrance, that intentional closing of the day, that is where strength is restored. That is where focus is renewed. That is where tomorrow gets its fuel. Reflect, release, and rest. Because what's ahead of you demands a version of you that knows how to finish today in faith. Focus is not a luxury. It's not a personality trait. It's not something only the elite, the privileged, or the highly educated get to experience. Focus is a bridge, a holy bridge that carries you from where you are to where you were always meant to be. And on that bridge, distractions gather like beggars pulling at your mind, tugging at your time, begging for your attention. But you must learn to walk that bridge with your eyes fixed and your heart anchored, because destiny doesn't wait for the distracted. So many people are stuck, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack focus. They've allowed every beep, every ping, every opinion, every comparison, every shiny object to pull them off the path. And now they're busy but not effective, active but not aligned, running hard but in circles, and what's worse is they think movement means momentum, but it doesn't. Because movement without direction is just noise. You've got to understand that focus is warfare. It's not easy. It's not natural. Everything in this world is designed to keep you from locking in. But when you decide to guard your mind, when you choose to filter what gets your attention, when you say no to what's good so you can say yes to what's God, then you start moving with divine precision. Then you start walking that bridge with strength. Then your yes has power and your no has boundaries. And I know it's hard. I know it's easier to drift. It's easier to say yes to everything. It's easier to scroll, to numb, to procrastinate. But the truth is easy will never lead you to excellence. Easy will never carry you into your calling. You've got to press. You've got to decide, this is what matters. This is what I'm building. This is the vision I'm carrying. And anything that doesn't serve it has to go. Let me tell you something. Your future is too important to rent your focus to foolishness. Your calling is too great to lease your mind to mediocrity. There is something inside of you that demands discipline, that demands commitment, that demands focus. Because when you focus, you multiply your power. When you focus, time expands. When you focus, creativity flows. When you focus, things that used to take hours take minutes, and things that felt impossible start to move. Focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about staying on your assignment when distractions scream your name. It's about being faithful when no one is clapping, consistent when no one is watching, and courageous when quitting looks easier. So walk that bridge, eyes forward, spirit grounded, mind made up, because every step you take in focus is a step toward fulfillment. And what God has placed in you will only come alive through that focus, not in the noise, not in the chaos, but in the clarity that comes when you decide, I will not be moved.